I'm going to tell you the truth on how to monetize your YouTube channel for 2024 by telling you exactly everything that I did to monetize my own channel. But first, coffee. And now that I have my coffee, let me tell you about step number one. Step number one is to niche down. Now, a lot of creators will actually say to not do this because you're limiting yourself and putting yourself in a box by selecting a niche. But let me ask you this. Who's gonna watch your videos if you're randomly posting about photography and then posting about Legos and then posting about being a mechanic? Your audience is way too broad in order for you to actually even start growing your channel. So here is the cold hard truth. If you want to grow on YouTube, you have to pick a niche. Now, if you don't care about growing and you just want to have fun, it's totally okay to post about photography and about the Legos and about being a mechanic. Totally fine. So now you might be wondering, well, what do I niche down to? Well, let me make it super easy for you. This is me with my camera. I've been doing photography since I was in college back in 2015. I'd like to think that I'm fairly good at it. I know what I'm doing. And I can also talk about this subject for hours. Now, on the other hand, this is me with a football. I suck at catching footballs, and I also don't watch the sport. So I have both of these options. Which one would be best for me to choose as a niche? Well, I think I'm gonna have to go ahead and stick with photography on that one because I know it very well. So basically, you're gonna be picking something that you're really good at. Okay, step number two is time. Now, the reason I bring this up is because I started my content creation journey back in 2015 as a gaming content creator. Obviously, that didn't work out for me, and I started up with photography back in 2019. Now, with my journey specifically, I made some YouTube videos here and there, but I mainly started focusing on Instagram and TikTok because they were introducing the short form content. Fast forward a few years later, I am now officially focusing more on YouTube, and my videos have finally started to gain more and more traction. You see, I would post maybe, a tutorial here and there and it would get no views. But in reality, if you look at this graph that I'm showing you, it got some views, but then look at when it really started to pick up. It happened 6 months later or even up to a year later. So it's going to take time. So my question for you is, are you willing to do this for 10 or 15 years without any results? Everything good comes with patience. So the third step is creating value, and a lot of beginners and even experienced creators make this mistake for several years. So what I want you to do is ask yourself, what does my current and future audience want to see? See, oftentimes we get stuck in creating for just us instead of creating for others. You basically have to create value for the people that are watching your content because they are essentially trading their time for the value that you're providing. And if you're not providing any value, then there is no reason for that person to watch your content. So now you might be thinking, well, Marco, how do I create valuable content? What even is valuable content? So the simple answer to that is that it comes in many different forms. It comes in an educational format. It could be motivational or even entertainment-wise. For example, I created this video for you because I want to help you get monetized, and also it's a problem that you currently have. So how do you solve this problem? Well, you're going to go ahead and look up some advice, right? So I'm basically solving this for you by giving you some tips. So that's how you have to start thinking in order to give that audience value. Basically, people have problems and you have an answer that can solve that problem. Now, specifically for me, I like to create educational type content because I love helping people. But the good thing about educational content is that it's also considered evergreen content. That basically means that it's always going to get views because I'm always going to be answering questions that people have. So I'm always providing solutions to problems, and no matter what, people are always going to look that up. So now step number 4 is to simply learn. Now, what do I mean by learn? Well, one of the first things I would want you to do is to study the other creators that are in your niche. What are they doing in their videos that maybe you're not? Also go ahead and study their titles and thumbnails because those are also a huge game changer whenever you're creating content and you want to be noticed by people that are browsing. Study the way that they edit your videos and implement everything that you've learned from studying other creators and turn it into your own style. And no, you're not going to figure this out right away because we're constantly evolving, and even me, I'm still trying to figure out my style. In fact, this video is a different format for me. And when it comes to your own type of content, YouTube actually has a lot of tools in place to help you understand how your video is performing. Here's actually a few key indicators that I'd like for you to know. Number one, look at all of the videos that you have created. Which ones have the highest views? And why do they have the highest views? Study that. For example, with my channel, I have noticed that the highest viewed videos on my page are going to be number one, tutorials, because people always have problems and I have a solution for them. Number two, gear reviews is also one of my highest performing videos. The reason for that is because, well, people are looking to make a big purchase and I'm helping them decide whether or not it's a good purchase. Those are my two categories of my highest views. So now I know because of that, that is a type of content that I need to focus on to continue to grow my channel. The next indicator is retention. We all know retention is king on YouTube. The longer retention that you have, the more that your content is going to get pushed out. Now, YouTube actually shows you this graph and it shows you a few different things. One, it shows you when people are exiting your videos. Now, it is good to study those dips right there because you might be doing something wrong. Maybe in one of your videos, you get off subject. Now, because you know that, you can now cut that out in future videos. There's also a few other indicators where it shows you where people are replaying a specific part of your content. Now, that is actually good for you because that means you're getting more watch time. So maybe repeat that process if you're seeing that in your retention graph. Now, all of these things are going to help you create better content, but you will never create better content unless you put the reps in. Now, in case you're curious about things that I wish I would have known before I started photography, make sure to watch this video that's right here.